Chosen ones, listen closely. If you've ever felt like your life has been one long test after another, like people keep rejecting you, misunderstanding you, or even betraying you, I'm here to tell you the shocking truth. It's because you are the second copy of Jesus. Have you ever wondered why your kindness is mistaken for weakness, why your light attracts both love and hatred, and why, even in your lowest moments, God keeps lifting you back up? Imagine a carpenter's son, born in a small village, ordinary to the world, but extraordinary in destiny. People doubted him, mocked him, and plotted against him, yet his presence alone shook entire empires. That was Jesus. And guess what? If you are watching this right now, it's not by chance. It's because your life mirrors his in ways you may not even realize. Like him, you've been through betrayal, through trials, through lonely nights where even those closest to you turned their backs. But instead of breaking you, it awakened something divine inside of you. Chosen one, you are carrying the blueprint of Christ within your soul. You are not just another believer. You are a living testimony, a walking reflection of his power, his compassion, and his authority on earth. Now here's where it gets deep. Most people think being chosen means fame, riches, or worldly success. Wrong. Being chosen means carrying the same spiritual DNA as Jesus. Chosen for struggle, yes, but also chosen for victory, chosen for authority, chosen to set captives free. And if you've noticed strange patterns in your life, people trying to take advantage of your kindness, sudden spiritual attacks, or blessings that arrive just when you thought it was over, that's the divine fingerprint. As John 14:12 says, "Very truly, I tell you, whoever believes in me will do the works I have been doing, and they will do even greater things than these." Chosen one, that verse wasn't meant for the history books, it was meant for you. So stay with me until the very end of this video, because I'm about to reveal the 7 undeniable signs that prove you're carrying the same divine power that Jesus carried. And once you see them clearly, you'll never look at your life or your struggles the same way again. Point 1, you carry light in dark places, chosen ones. Have you ever stopped and wondered why strangers, co-workers, or even people you've just met suddenly feel safe spilling their deepest secrets to you? It's not coincidence. It's not even about you personally. It's about the atmosphere you carry. You don't just walk into a room, you shift the entire energy of it. You see, there's something powerful about your presence, something that unsettles the darkness while at the same time soothing the brokenhearted. When you enter a space, hidden things get revealed, not because you pry, but because your spirit radiates truth. Think about it. When Jesus walked into rooms filled with sickness, torment, and oppression, those things couldn't coexist with him. Demons trembled, illnesses vanished, and lies were exposed. The same principle echoes through your life. You may not even say a word, but your aura, your light, your very energy does the talking. People sense something different, something real, and their souls recognize safety in your presence. That's why they confess things they never planned to share, almost as if they can't help themselves. You are a mirror reflecting back the truth. And in that reflection, people either find freedom or run away in discomfort. Science even gives us a glimpse into this mystery. Studies in psychology reveal that humans can sense authenticity and calmness at a subconscious level. When someone is aligned in their spirit, living with integrity, peace, and clarity, others can literally feel it. Their nervous system relaxes, their guard lowers, and suddenly they're open in ways they wouldn't be with anyone else. Combine that with the spiritual truth of your light, and it's no wonder people feel drawn to you without understanding why. But here's the other side of the coin. Your presence doesn't just attract openness, it also stirs resistance. Darkness hates light. Just as shadows disappear when the sun rises, hidden motives and secret sins get exposed when you're around. Ever notice how some people avoid you or get strangely irritated for no reason? That's not about you being unlikable, it's about their inner demons being confronted by your mere existence. Your spirit calls out truth, and not everyone is ready to face that truth. Chosen ones, this is why you've always felt like you didn't quite blend in. While others could slip by unnoticed, you were the one who got blamed, who got attention, who got treated differently. That's because your light refuses to let darkness stay comfortable. Even in silence, you speak. Even without intention, you challenge. And yes, that can feel like a burden sometimes, but it's actually one of your greatest powers. History is full of examples of such presence. Think of Martin Luther King Jr. His words carried power, yes, but it was also his spirit that drew people. Think of Mother Teresa. People around her often said they felt something unexplainable, a peace that surpassed understanding. That same power works through you in your own unique way. You might not have a pulpit or a global stage, but in your home, at your workplace, in your community, your light has the same impact. The truth is, chosen one, your life is a living testimony. You don't always need to preach, argue, or prove yourself. Your presence alone speaks volumes. When you walk into a room, remember you're not just another body taking up space. You're a vessel of divine energy, shifting atmospheres, exposing lies, and making space for healing. That's why people are drawn to you. That's why they confide in you. That's why both light seekers and darkness shielders react so strongly in your presence. So the next time someone opens up to you unexpectedly, or conversely, the next time someone avoids you or acts strangely, don't take it personally. Recognize it for what it is. Confirmation that your light is working. You're not here to fit in. You're here to awaken, to reveal, to heal, and to remind people of the truth they've been running from. And that, chosen one, is why your presence carries a weight far greater than you may even realize. Point 2. You attract both followers and haters. Sound familiar? Some people love you deeply. Others despise you without reason. That's not just coincidence. It's spiritual. The same spirit that raised Jesus from the dead is alive in you, and that reality unsettles people who are not aligned with God. See, light doesn't just shine, it exposes. When you walk into a room carrying divine authority, some souls feel comforted while others feel convicted, even if you've never said a word. That's why reactions to your presence are often extreme. People either cling to you because they sense hope, or they push you away because your very existence challenges the shadows they're hiding in. History and scripture remind us of this truth. Jesus himself was adored by many and hated by others, sometimes within the same crowd. The blind and broken came running to him because they felt healing in his words, yet the Pharisees plotted against him simply because his presence threatened their power. The same pattern repeats in the lives of chosen ones. You don't even have to open your mouth for people to form strong opinions about you. It's not about you personally. It's about the spirit you carry. As Romans 8:11 declares, the spirit of him who raised Jesus from the dead dwells in you. That means resurrection power, the kind that breaks chains, heals wounds, and awakens the dead places of life, is walking around inside your vessel. And the world cannot ignore that. Think of it like this. People with allergies react strongly to pollen. Not because pollen is trying to hurt them, but because their bodies can't handle what it carries. In the same way, when you step into environments that are spiritually misaligned, some hearts react defensively to the purity, peace, and truth you carry. It's not about you being too much or too different. It's about them not being able to process the frequency of God's Spirit operating in you. That's why rejection often comes before recognition. The chosen ones are tested in the fire of misunderstanding long before they are celebrated for their light. Now here's where it gets interesting. This love-hate dynamic in your life is actually confirmation of your calling. If everybody praises you, if every door opens too easily, it might mean you're blending in with the crowd instead of standing apart as God intended. A life aligned with divine assignment is not meant to please everyone, it's meant to shake the atmosphere. Jesus said in Matthew 10:22, "You will be hated by everyone because of me, but the one who stands firm to the end will be saved." That's not a curse, that's a signpost. Hatred, envy, gossip, and rejection are often the world's response to the spirit of truth. But here's the beautiful side of this. Just as some people resist your spirit, others are drawn to it with a hunger they can't explain. They'll seek your wisdom, your presence, your prayers, because what they see in you is not ordinary. It's healing, it's clarity, it's divine energy in human form. Think about how magnetic Jesus was to the brokenhearted, lepers, tax collectors, women caught in shameful acts. All of them were irresistibly pulled to his presence because his spirit carried life. You are a continuation of that same story. Your walk, your silence, your prayers, even your struggles, they all radiate something eternal. So the next time you notice that some people love you without explanation and others seem to despise you for no reason at all, remember, it's not random. You carry resurrection power, and that power disrupts what's dead, awakens what's dormant, and unsettles what's false. Some will celebrate you for it, others will resist you for it, but either way, you're walking proof that God's Spirit is alive and active today. And that, chosen one, is the highest compliment you could ever receive. Point 3, you experience unfair trials. Life hasn't been easy, chosen one. You know it better than anyone. From the chaos of family drama that tried to break your spirit, to financial storms that threatened your stability, to the heartbreak of betrayal from the very people you trusted, your journey has been anything but smooth. Yet here you stand, still breathing, still rising, still carrying light in a world that tried to dim you. What if I told you that none of these hardships were punishments? They were refinements, chiseling away at the surface to reveal the masterpiece within you. Just like fire purifies gold, your struggles have purified your soul. Think about it. Jesus himself, the purest example of love and truth, was falsely accused, mocked, beaten, and even betrayed by one of his closest companions. If the Son of God had to endure betrayal and rejection, why should you think your path would be free of such trials? In fact, your battles are confirmation that you are walking in divine footsteps. The rejection you face, the lies told against you, and the loneliness you sometimes feel are all signs that you carry a power so strong it threatens the darkness around you. Psychologists even note that people who endure betrayal often develop stronger intuition and resilience than those who haven't. It's as if every stab in the back sharpened your ability to sense truth, making you spiritually alert in ways others cannot understand. Science tells us that stress, when endured and overcome, literally rewires the brain to adapt, survive, and grow stronger. So, while the world saw your setbacks as losses, heaven saw them as spiritual training. Each heartbreak became a lesson, each disappointment a classroom, each betrayal a graduation into higher wisdom. But here's the twist that makes your journey captivating. While others break under pressure, you transform under it. Pressure turns coal into diamonds, and storms make trees grow deeper roots. You've endured the kind of suffering that could have left you bitter, but instead it refined your compassion. You understand pain so well that you can't stand to see others suffer silently. That's why people are drawn to you, even when they don't fully understand why. Your very presence radiates strength and empathy. You've walked through the fire and come out not smelling like smoke, but carrying a glow that can't be faked. In the Bible it says, "Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because, having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life." James 1:12. That crown isn't just some distant heavenly reward. It's already visible in the way you carry yourself today. You've earned a spiritual authority that no degree, no wealth, and no status could ever give. You carry a wisdom beyond your years, and a discernment that cuts through deception like a blade. And here's the part that makes your story even more unique. People often underestimate you. They see the scars, the quietness, or even the way you walk alone, and they assume you're broken. But little do they know, those scars are proof of survival. That silence is the mark of deep thinkers and healers. And that solitude? It's the sanctuary where chosen ones recharge and receive divine downloads. You're not broken, you're battle-tested, you're not forgotten, you're being prepared. So the next time you look back at the storms you've survived, don't see them as wasted years, see them as sacred training grounds. Life didn't just happen to you, it shaped you. Just as Jesus endured the cross to step into his greatest glory, you've endured pain that will soon be the platform for your purpose. You are a walking testimony that trials don't destroy chosen ones, they reveal them. And that, chosen one, is why your story is more powerful than you realize. Point 4, you have healing power in your words. Chosen ones, let's pause for a moment and reflect on something extraordinary that you may have overlooked. You carry a healing presence, one that is not bound by titles, robes, or pulpits. When you walk into a room, something shifts. People might not be able to explain it, but they feel it. Your laughter seems to carry light, your silence feels safe, and your words, oh your words, have a way of piercing through the darkest clouds of another person's heart. This is not by accident. The Spirit of God flows through you, not in theory, not in vague poetry, but in real, tangible ways, much like it flowed through Jesus when he spoke to the broken, the forgotten, and the outcasts of his time. Science even backs this up in fascinating ways. Studies in psychology reveal that human beings can sense emotional contagion, meaning we absorb each other's moods and energy almost instantly. A calm, compassionate presence can lower stress hormones, regulate breathing, and even shift heart rhythms in those nearby. Chosen ones, without even realizing it, you're often walking, breathing, praying, regulators of peace. It's not just in the words you say, it's in your very being. People leave your presence feeling lighter, freer, and strangely more hopeful because the Spirit within you is silently ministering to them. Think about how Jesus moved. He didn't always need to perform grand miracles with thunder and lightning. Sometimes he just looked at someone, touched their hand, or spoke a single sentence that cracked chains of despair. That same Spirit now dwells in you. It may not look as dramatic on the surface, but when you pray over someone quietly, when you encourage someone who is on the edge of giving up, when you simply listen without judgment, you are releasing divine power. To the weary soul, your presence is like water in the desert. Chosen ones often underestimate this because it feels so natural. You may think, I'm just being myself. But that self has been set apart, refined through trials, and aligned with a higher purpose. Your scars, your solitude, your moments of brokenness, they weren't in vain. They trained you to carry an energy that is rare in this noisy, chaotic world, the energy of divine alignment. You've been stripped of ego so you could reflect God's light without distortion. And that's why people seek you out without even knowing why. In fact, ancient wisdom speaks of this too. Proverbs 16:24 says, "Gracious words are a honeycomb, sweet to the soul and healing to the bones." Modern research confirms that encouraging words can actually boost immune function and emotional resilience. Isn't it fascinating how scripture and science agree here? What Jesus embodied, what you now carry, is not abstract spirituality, it's a literal force that heals minds, bodies, and spirits. But let me also be real with you. This gift is heavy. Sometimes you feel drained, sometimes misunderstood, and sometimes you wonder why people always come to you but rarely check on you. That's part of the cost of being chosen. Yet remember this, even Jesus withdrew to pray, to refill, to connect directly with the Father. You too must guard your energy. Your light is powerful, but it needs tending, protecting, and renewing. The Spirit flows through you, yes, but your vessel must stay nourished and aligned. So, chosen ones, the next time someone leaves your company smiling when they arrived broken, don't dismiss it as coincidence. The Spirit is alive in you. When your prayers comfort someone you haven't even spoken to yet, know that heaven heard before your lips even moved. When your encouragement feels like oxygen to someone drowning in despair, know that this is the mark of divine power working through you. You are not just a friend, a co-worker, a sibling, or a stranger passing by. You are a carrier of God's presence in ordinary disguise. Chosen ones, take this to heart. Your very existence is medicine. Where you step, light enters. Where you speak, hope grows. Where you love, healing begins. And just like Jesus, you may never fully see the extent of the lives you've touched. But trust me, the ripple is eternal. Keep walking in that quiet, holy power because the world is desperate for the healing only you can carry. Point 5. You live differently from the crowd. You don't fit in, and that's by design. From the moment you were born, you were set apart, carved from a different mold. While the majority moves in unison, chasing the latest trends, bowing to the loudest voices, you've always found yourself walking against the current. And here's the twist. That's not a flaw, that's your calling. The world may see you as the odd one out, but what looks like rejection is, in truth, divine redirection. Every closed door, every moment of being misunderstood, every time you stood alone, it wasn't meant to break you, but to position you. Remember, even Jesus himself said, "My kingdom is not of this world, and if you carry his light, then neither is yours." Think about it. If you were meant to blend in seamlessly, your soul wouldn't ache when you're forced into conformity. That deep discomfort you feel in crowds, that inability to participate in shallow conversations or meaningless pursuits, that's not social awkwardness, it's spiritual alignment. Your very DNA was encoded with a higher frequency, one that refuses to settle for the temporary comforts of this world. The chosen ones are wired differently. You see, while the masses look outward for validation, you've always felt this magnetic pull inward towards something greater, something eternal. History shows us this isn't new. Every prophet, every reformer, every visionary was first labeled as strange, radical, or dangerous before their truth shifted the world. Take Noah, for instance. The man built an ark when the skies were clear and people laughed at him. Yet when the flood came, the very thing mocked became the vessel of salvation. Or think of Moses, raised in Pharaoh's palace, yet never truly belonging there. His not fitting in was the very sign he was called to lead people out of bondage. So when you feel out of place, remind yourself, God never raises leaders in comfort zones. He raises them in wildernesses, in places where they must learn to stand apart. And let's be honest, rejection stings. It cuts deep when friends turn their backs, when family doesn't understand, when society looks at you like you're misaligned. But here's the secret. Rejection is often heaven's way of protecting your assignment. If everyone accepted you, if every circle welcomed you, you would lose the sharpness of your edge. Diamonds are only formed under pressure, and chosen ones are only revealed through separation. What looks like loneliness is really training ground. Science even backs this up in ways people don't expect. Psychologists have studied minority influence, showing that individuals who stand firm in their convictions, even when outnumbered, often end up reshaping the beliefs of the majority over time. That's you. Your ability to stand alone is what makes others eventually turn their heads and ask, what do they know that we don't? Your refusal to conform is not arrogance, it's alignment with a truth bigger than yourself. But here's the captivating part. You don't just walk differently, you see differently. Where others see only what's in front of them, you perceive the layers beneath. Where others chase fame, you chase purpose. Where others cling to comfort, you embrace growth, even if it's painful. The world might not understand that, but deep down, they envy it. Because while they spend their lives masking, you've chosen unmasking. While they follow illusions, you pursue revelation. So yes, you don't fit in, but let that be your badge of honor, because the kingdom you belong to doesn't play by the rules of this world. You were called to be salt, preserving truth in a world decaying with lies. You were called to be light, shining in places where darkness pretends to reign. That tension you feel between who you are and where you are, that's heaven whispering, you were never meant to settle here. You were meant to transform here. And the most powerful realization of all is this: not fitting in doesn't mean you're lost. It means you're found by the one who saw fit to set you apart before time began. The very thing that isolates you is the very thing that elevates you. You are not of this world, and that's exactly why the world cannot contain you. You're not here to blend in, you're here to stand out, to stand firm, and to stand tall as a living testimony that chosen ones are never misplaced. They're divinely positioned. Point 6. You walk with spiritual authority, chosen one. Whether you recognize it yet or not, you've been entrusted with something extraordinary, an authority that is not defined by human titles, status, or wealth, but by a spiritual calling. This authority is not merely symbolic, it carries real weight, both in the unseen world and in how it eventually shapes the visible. Scripture teaches this clearly. James 5:16 declares, "The prayer of a righteous person is powerful and effective." Notice the wording, powerful, effective, not maybe or sometimes. It means when you pray, you are not speaking into the air, you are shifting atmospheres, influencing outcomes, and releasing forces that align with God's will. Your words, spoken in faith, echo far beyond the moment. Think of Elijah, a man like us, who prayed for rain and the skies obeyed. Prayer for the chosen one is not weak pleading, it is command backed by divine authority. This also explains why your discernment is not just another human trait. It is a safeguard given by God. Many people walk through life blind to hidden traps, easily swayed by appearances or deceived by clever words. But you carry an inner radar. Scientists call it pattern recognition, the brain's natural ability to detect irregularities and sense danger before it fully appears. Yet for the chosen, this gift extends into the spiritual realm. It is the ability to feel the weight of a room, to catch the subtle deception in someone's tone, to recognize spiritual schemes before they unfold. That is why people cannot easily manipulate you. You see beyond masks, and this makes you a threat to forces that thrive in shadows. While others stumble, you remain steady, guided not only by intellect, but by divine intuition. Then there is your presence. You've probably noticed it before. A room shifts when you enter. Conversations adjust. People either feel comforted or unsettled. And even those who don't understand why still react to your energy. Psychology confirms that human beings radiate electromagnetic fields measurable by science, and these fields influence those around us. But your presence goes further. It carries a spiritual imprint. Just as Jesus calmed storms with a word, you carry an authority that stabilizes chaos. It may not be conscious. You don't walk in and command the atmosphere like a performance. Instead, your quiet presence anchors peace. Where there is tension, you bring relief. Where there is fear, you carry courage. Where there is confusion, you embody clarity. This is not arrogance, it is awareness of what you carry. A soldier does not apologize for wearing armor, and you need not apologize for the authority of your presence. Interestingly, even modern research supports the reality of such influence. Studies show that calm individuals lower the stress levels of groups, while anxious people can spread nervous energy like wildfire. Leaders who embody stillness are often more trusted because humans instinctively associate peace with safety. For the chosen one, however, this is more than biology. It is divine design. Your peace is not just yours, it is lent to you from heaven, a peace that surpasses all understanding. Philippians 4:7. That's why people find themselves opening up to you unexpectedly, confessing things they swore they would never tell anyone. They are not just speaking to you, they are responding to the atmosphere of safety your spirit carries. But perhaps the greatest truth is this: power is not always loud. In fact, the chosen one often walks unnoticed by the world, overlooked because they do not boast or demand recognition, yet heaven recognizes you. Authority is not measured in applause, but in alignment. Every time you choose to speak life instead of cursing, to forgive instead of retaliate, to remain steadfast instead of panicking, you are exercising spiritual authority. Think of Moses. He doubted his speaking ability, yet his words carried the weight to part seas and challenge empires. Think of David, dismissed as a shepherd boy, yet carrying the authority to slay giants and lead nations. Power clothed in humility often carries the deepest impact because it reflects God rather than self. Chosen one, you may not always feel strong. Life's storms can make you doubt your own resilience. But strength is not about never bending. It is about being rooted so deeply that even when winds roar, you do not break. You are more than a survivor of trials. You are a silencer of storms. You carry peace into chaos, clarity into confusion, and light into darkness. This is not just who you are, it is why you are here. The world may measure worth by wealth, titles, or influence, but the kingdom measures it by obedience, faith, and spiritual authority. Your authority does not come from striving, but from standing in the truth of who God made you to be. Every step you take is backed by heaven. Every word you speak in faith reverberates in eternity. You are a chosen one, not by accident, but by divine appointment. Point 7. You're being prepared for greater works. Chosen one, lean in close, because this truth isn't just poetic, it's divine strategy. Everything you've gone through, from the gut-wrenching betrayals to the lonely nights when your own thoughts felt heavier than mountains, wasn't random suffering. It was preparation. Just as gold is refined by fire, you are being refined, molded and stripped of illusions, so that when your time came, you would carry not just scars, but wisdom, resilience, and unshakable faith. And here's the part that flips the narrative. God was never punishing you. That heaviness you carried wasn't proof of rejection, it was proof of promotion. You see, trials are not designed to destroy the chosen. They're designed to activate what was already planted inside you from birth. Think about it. Jesus himself declared in John 14:12, "Whoever believes in me will do the works I've been doing, and they will do even greater things than these." That wasn't metaphorical, it was a promise. But why would the Son of God say you would do greater works? Because his Spirit didn't leave with him, it continues through you. Every sleepless night sharpened your discernment. Every betrayal taught you to see through masks. Every valley carved out space for more of his light to dwell in you. That's not suffering wasted, that's training for kingdom work. Look at history. The apostles faced prison, persecution, and exile. Yet they carried the same spirit and spread the gospel across nations. Ordinary fishermen became world changers because their pain became a pulpit. Your life is no different. When others count you out, heaven counts you in. When others see weakness, God sees readiness. You are not here to mimic Jesus, you are here to multiply his impact. The Spirit of Christ within you equips you to heal, to inspire, to break generational curses, and to remind a broken world that the power of God is alive and active. So the next time you question why you had to endure so much, remember this. Your wilderness wasn't punishment, it was rehearsal. Chosen one, you're stepping into the stage where divine power flows through you, not for your glory, but for His. And trust me, what's coming next will make sense. Chosen ones, pause and let this truth settle in your heart. You are not a random wanderer in this life. You are a reflection of Christ, not in the flesh, but in spirit, in purpose, and in calling. That is why your journey often feels heavier than most. The constant opposition you face is not accidental. It mirrors the resistance Jesus Himself endured. Spiritual historians and theologians remind us that the life of the believer is not promised to be easy, but it is promised to be meaningful. Carrying divine purpose often comes with battles that sharpen and refine the soul. When the weight of your anointing feels both like a burden and a blessing, it is because great responsibility always carries both. The world may misinterpret you, dismiss you, or even label you as strange, but in heaven's courts, you are celebrated as living proof that God still heals, still speaks, and still redeems. When you feel ignored, recall how even Jesus was dismissed in His own hometown. When betrayal wounds you, remember He was betrayed too. And when unworthiness whispers, silence it with this truth. You were chosen for such a time as this. Stay awake, stay strong, and never forget, the best of you has yet to be revealed.